What is going on, everybody? I am the FDGURU, bringing to you guys a Tuesday NBA DFS video. We have 3 games on the main slate tonight. We just got a news update that Jarrett Allen is now questionable for the Cavs. Not sure what to make of that, but in the playoffs when we haven't seen a guy miss a game yet and they get ruled questionable, I give them a better chance of playing than not. We'll have to see what happens. That game is at 8 o'clock Eastern, so we might not get that news before lock. But as usual in this video, I'm giving you guys 5 plays that I like using FanDuel salaries, 1 for each position. And FanDuel is making it tougher and tougher by the slate with these salaries because, any cheaper guy that has a good game, they raise their prices. And then, if a guy doesn't have a good game, they don't exactly lower their salary. So it kind of just makes it very difficult as we seem to have less and less value every single slate. But, everyone's at the same disadvantage. We got to find the cheap guys that we can, somewhat manage. But, as these salaries increase on these slates, it just makes it harder and harder for these guys to hit value. Not exactly looking for value, like I always say. We're really just looking for these guys to outperform the other guys in their price range. So let's try to have a good night tonight. We have another depleted Bucks team with Damian Lillard doubtful again, Giannis doubtful. So we're going to have to get involved with the Bucks tonight, even though their salaries are increased. That game has a 13-point higher over-under than the other 2 games, very similar to a Nuggets and Lakers game, having a higher over-under than the other games, kind of like last night. But we'll get right into the video. Give it a like, subscribe, and definitely put my alerts on so you don't miss any videos. I am doing the same schedule as yesterday in terms of DFS for lineups. We have the NBA and MLB main slates on my website, and then the early-only MLB, as well as the 2-game after-hours slate for the NBA and the 5-game after-hours slate for the MLB. Those non-main slates will be posted on my Dub Club. You can subscribe for $1 with the link below this video. Been pumping out a lot of content since that Dub Club opened up. So for point guard, I do like Kyle Lowry as a cheap option. He was like $4,500 to start the series. He's been playing well. He's up to $5,400. I don't think it's a crazy price compared to the other guys in his salary range. I think if we get anywhere from like 22 to mid-20s in fantasy points, we're going to feel pretty good about this play. He technically needs 27 to hit value, but like I said, we're not as worried about guys hitting value as much as we are as just outperforming other 5K salary guys. He's playing 30 to 33 minutes a game. You saw 38 minutes in that first game. And he does a little bit of everything. He's going to get you some points, maybe knock down a couple threes, run into some rebounds. He's been assisting the scoring pretty well. 11 total assists over the last 2 games. He can run into some steals and blocks too. He's been very consistent in this Knicks series, getting over 22 fantasy points in all 4 games. So we can feel pretty good about Kyle Lowry as a value play on tonight's slate. Just to talk about the injuries as well as I always do, we technically have Joel Embiid questionable and Halliburton questionable. I think they'll play. I think Jarrett Allen is a little bit more of a worry because it seems like his rib is a big enough deal to put him on the injury report. Again, he probably has a better chance of playing than not. So I feel pretty good about everyone who's on the injury report tonight to play. Pat Beverly also was on the injury report. He's probable, but looked like he got limited in his last game, playing only 20 minutes. So who knows if that right oblique strain is going to, keep him from playing any sort of, high minutes in tonight's game. But overall, the injury report doesn't look crazy. Moving into shooting guard, I do like Chris Middleton as a spend up. He's now more than Donovan Mitchell, which is kind of crazy. But, with no Dame Lillard and Giannis on the court, his usage is through the roof. he's an elite scorer of the basketball, and now he's contributing in other categories like assists and rebounds with the ball in his hands so often. 10 rebounds in 3 of the 4 games against the Pacers. So this guy's doing a little bit of everything. He's on triple-double watch with no Giannis and Dame out there. I like him as even at 8,900, definitely one of the higher prices we've seen on him ever. He needs 45 fantasy points. He's projected out as one of the better spend-up options on tonight's slate. Obviously, like I said earlier, this Bucks and Pacers game is the best game to pick from. The potential most scoring in this game. Great matchup. I think Middleton does a lot tonight. They're going to need him to stay in this game and squeak out a win with no Lillard and Giannis. Small forward, we can get cheap again here, taking advantage of the Bucks value. With no Lillard and no Giannis, we saw Malik Beasley start last game. He played 34 minutes. Now, he really only scores the basketball. He doesn't really contribute in any other way. He doesn't get a ton of rebounds or assists, and he doesn't get active on the defensive end. But if he can get 20 or, just over 20 fantasy points tonight, we're going to feel really good about him as a value play. Because like I said, especially on FanDuel in the playoffs, it's really hard to find sub 6K value pieces. I do think Beasley's a decent play. You could also, if you wanted to, look at a different direction to take advantage of this Bucks value, you could look at Pat Connaughton at 4K. He played a decent amount last game. It's really the only 2 value Bucks I kind of like. You do have Gallinari, who saw some minutes last game at a cheap price, but he also only played because Bobby Portis got ejected early in that game. Other guys, we saw, where is he? Is he a small forward or a shooting? He must be a shooting guard. AJ Green played a little bit, 3,700. He played 21 minutes. Doesn't need to do much to, get there. Even 13 fantasy points isn't bad, so you could maybe look towards his way. You could also look towards Andre Jackson. They played him a lot last game for his defense, 25 minutes. Obviously, it's risky, but he filled up the stat sheet in all 5 categories, got 34 fantasy points. It's nothing you're going to feel comfortable about, but, with the Bucks so banged up, they're definitely a team we want to resort to when looking for cheap guys. Just some names you should keep an eye out on when making your lineups. I do think Malik Beasley, though, is the best spend down option on the Bucks tonight as a starter. He's a good 3-point shooter. He's a good scorer. They're gonna be, begging for scoring with no Lillard and Giannis. So Beasley at 4,700 looks pretty good to me at small forward. Power forward, another value play. His price has gone up. 6,200 now. Aaron Nesmith, he's been playing well. The Pacers have been playing a tight rotation. He's starting, playing a lot of minutes. Obviously, he's like a 4th option on this offense behind Siakam, Halliburton, Miles Turner, even Nembhard. But he is going to find open threes, and if he hits them, he'll be doing well. He's a great rebounder. He only got 3 last game, but he's a guy who can get, 5 to 8 rebounds. 7 assists a few games ago, runs into steals. Again, he technically needs 30 fantasy points to hit value, but we're not too worried about value. I just think he looks like one of the better 6K guys on tonight's slate. If he gets anything over 25 fantasy points, he looks pretty good, playing a ton of minutes, playing no less than 36 minutes a game in this series against the Bucks. So I think Nesmith is a decent value option at 6,200. And then for center, let's go to Bobby Portis. He was going to smash last game, got ejected. Going to come back out in this game with vengeance. Ton of usage. Again, we were playing him a bunch with no Giannis. And now that there's no Dame Lillard too, Portis, his usages just go through the roof. Him and Middleton are the 2 guys on this team tonight that are going to have to play well for the Bucks to stay in this game. It's a 4-point spread. I do expect it to be competitive. I do think Portis is going to play as many minutes as he can. Usually he's limited around 30 to 31 minutes, but we saw him play 43 minutes 2 games ago. Obviously ejected last game. I think he could play anywhere from 35 to 45 minutes tonight just because they are very desperate as their season is coming to an end. Behind in this series, very injured. He looks like a really good play. Even though he's 8,200 now, I think he has a 50-point ceiling, and I think he grades out as one of the better middle to high tier spend-ups on tonight's slate. That'll do it for this video, guys. Thanks for stopping by. Give it a like, subscribe. Let's get after this slate tonight, and hopefully we get no wonky injury stuff as we approach the slate. Until next time, I am the FD Guru. Peace.